On now to heat number 8. That's Andy Smith, who's had disappointment so far in the Grand Prix and has yet to score here. In fact, the only man in this heat, Mark Ram on the inside with a 3rd place to his name. Andy Smith, Josh Larson and Jens Steekman all outside him and all battling for their first points of the meeting here. This is heat number 8. Once again, of course, it should be vital away from the tapes. And who is it? Yes, the man in white there is Josh Larson, but no, edged away by Mark Ram. And can Mark Ram produce his first heat victory here? The young Brit who rides for Exeter in the British League, who's riding in Poland tomorrow, who's riding in Sweden on Tuesday. He rides everywhere, but here on this track, Mark Ram is looking fast and furious, gaining with every bend, gaining with every straight. And we look back there now from Andy Smith to see what we see in his wake. And all we see is the man in white, Josh Larson, who's in his first Grand Prix. Josh Larson with all the track to himself behind Andy Smith. Andy Smith himself is in 3rd place. He has to look forward because they're lifting in yellow and black is Jens Steekman, who he could chase, could catch. Mark Ram, though, out front in red and looking good. Very good for Mark here, Peter.
Yes, it's nice to see us having an English lad in front here. I mean, Mark's been in the thick of things in all these Grand Prix, and he seems to have this one in the bag, doesn't he, at this stage? But it's good, very good to see it.
Plenty in hand for Mark Ram as he comes round to take the checkered flag. He does a little wheelie. In 2nd place, Jens Steekman, and in 3rd place is Andy Smith. But Mark Ram with a 3-pointer to take him on to 4 from 2 rides. Desperate, of course, once again to reach the A final.
Yeah, I think these inside starts are now beginning to shine. And Lorem there was off the red, off gate 1, and he made no mistakes there, did he? And look at that view from the back. You can see the patches on the track, the shale on the outside and slippery bits on the inside, and it's quite a strange view that, but look at Lorem there. You can see he gets a load of grip. Like I say, there's such a lot of grip out there in certain places, and that's what causes these big wheelies.
The point situation then after 8 heats. Tommy Knudsen on a maximum 6 points. He's going for his 3rd again. Malenko is on 5 alongside Hancock, also on 5. Tony Rickardson, somewhat disappointed with just 4 points so far from the day's racing. Billy Hamill on 4. Mark Ram doing his cause a lot of good in that last heat with 4 points too. Thomas Golub on 4. Henke Gustafsson with 3. Voice 3, Nielsen 2. Well, what a disaster for the man who leads the Grand Prix at the moment with just 2 points. Cox on 2, Steekman on 2. Gunnerstad 2, Chris Louis, not good for him so far, just a point. Andy Smith on a point. Josh Larson with no points at all. Barry Briggs, Tommy Knudsen, already on target for his 3rd Grand Prix win of the year. Considering he picked himself off the floor earlier on, brilliant.
It's unbelievable. I mean, so to go in your first race and knock off Rickardson and Nielsen, the 2 front runners, and win the race quite easily, got in the front, controlling it, making sure that they got all to do the work to get through the dirt to get the place, and then the next win was just casual, it seems. And
home
that's
advantage?
the way he does. He doesn't really go that well at Vojens, strange enough, but you know, the 2 Grand Prix, one he's been smooth as silk, and he's just slotted straight into it, and this weather's suiting him.
Certainly is. Jason, someone it's not suiting, it would seem at the moment, is Hans Nielsen having big trouble, and he got a big edge out there by Sam Malenko. I think we can take a look at that now. Sam Malenko found himself in all sorts of trouble, and right underneath here, Hans Nielsen. Talk us through this.
Yeah, well, Hans kind of lifted a little bit coming out of the previous corner, and Sam got the run on him up the inside, and it wasn't so much a shove. I think Sam just rode a better line around the inside, and he was lucky enough to get level there and touched Hans, and then got his wheels in line a little bit sooner.
You must be looking forward to joining these boys.
I can't wait, Keith. It's you know, it's every speedway rider's dream to race in the World Final, and last year I raced in Vojens in the World Final and came in 11th place, and the top 10 places went to the Grand Prix this year, so I was very disappointed, but now I'm in the Grand Prix at Hackney in the series next year. I'm really looking forward to it.
Hackney in 3 weeks could be this man's place. Simon Wigg, mixed fortunes for the Brits so far, Louis and Laram. Chris Louis must be very disappointed with his ride so far.
Yeah, of course. Very difficult for him. Obviously, with that 3rd place in the series, he wants to try and keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum sort of going. But the weather really is very difficult there. If you're not making nice, clean starts, it's really murder. All that spray, as Brigo and Jason have said, is very difficult to come to terms with, and easy to get your head down a bit as well when it is like this.
Have you spotted any place on this track at the moment where there's any advantage to be had? I mean, gate-wise or corner-wise, we can see a lot of riders lifting. There's a lot getting a bit of grip out there in places, and it seems to be catching everyone out.
Yeah, what happens when the track goes like this is the inside obviously tends to dry out where everybody's been riding, and the wheels have gradually shifted the loose top dressing, and then between that and then the outside of the track, which is still very wet and very slippery, is a bit of a berm, and that tends to sort of go sticky. So as you're sliding across the track, when you hit that, the bike really tends to get a lot of drive, and it's quite difficult to hang on to it. But obviously you want to stay on that bit because that's where you'll get the most speed from. But great to see guys like Tony Rickardsson using that as well as they can. Very difficult to judge, though. Very difficult.
Well, we'll see how they get on a bit later on in the night. Of course, we've run 8 of the 20 qualifying heats from Denmark. Still plenty more to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Local boy and Grand Prix leader Hans Nielsen just 2 points after 2 outings. He'll be looking to put that right in the next heats.
This is heat number 9, and there is Jan Steekman coming out, desperate for points. He's had 2 so far. On the outside there in yellow and black, Tony Rickardsson, 2 second places for the Swede as the current world champion. Thomas Golob, the controversial poles on the inside in red. Marvin Cox from England is in gate 3 in the white helmet colours. Here we go. This is heat number 9. Is Golob going to do it? There is Golob in the red, making it to the bend, coming round Tony Rickardsson. The challenge is on. Golob goes wide. Rickardsson goes through. A brilliant piece of riding there. But let's look back here from Marvin Cox. Marvin Cox is the man in white, and he's looking back to the man in blue. Jan Steekman's the only one behind him, but out front is where the frenetic action is. A marvellous pass there by Tony Rickardsson, Peter.
Yeah, Golob made that start, you know, from gate 1 on the inside, but when you've got a bloke like Rickardsson on the outside, you need really to do something special on the first turn, because Rickardsson just went by Golob there as though he was standing still. Absolutely beautiful, and there's no way that Golob's going to make that ground up again now. Rickardsson's really going.
It seems with every turn of his wheel, Rickardsson is getting further and further in front with a lap to go. He's not looking back. He's concentrating on the job in hand. The track is still a little bit wet. There is still dirt flying, but Rickardsson's not concerned as to where he's putting it because he's in front. Back now in second place, Thomas Golob. The challenge going in from Jan Steekman, but third place there in the end going to Marvin Cox. The heat won by the man in yellow, Tony Rickardsson, the current world champion, looks back. He needed those points. It takes him on to 7 now and puts him in contention.
Well, this is certainly a different view of the start, isn't it? We're actually looking at the rider in third place, looking back at the rider in blue, which is Jan Steekman, who seems to be completely out of this race, but he almost runs into our camera, I think, there. But now we go back to the leaders, and we see Rickardsson, that manoeuvre as he goes past Thomas Golob. Marvellous bit of overtaking there. Golob had to lift his foot to let him go by. We can see it again. Absolutely great, that. No chance there for Golob.
On now to heat number 10. In yellow and black there is Sam Ermolenko, who's had a first place and a second so far and is desperately keen to do well in this event. He's on the outside. The American with no points so far on the inside is Josh Larson in his first Grand Prix. An all-American heat with Billy Hamill in the blue colours, and in the white helmet colours, Greg Hancock, who won his last outing. Here we go. All-American, heat 10. Who's going to win it? Sam Ermolenko on the outside. Can he come across? Yes, he does. The pattern's developing here. The man from the outside gate seems to be able to make it to the apex of that bend very, very quickly indeed. And Sam Ermolenko certainly with now in blue Billy Hamill. And back there in white is Greg Hancock for the first bend. Vital, Peter. He came from the outside once again.
Yes, he did. I think, as I said earlier, there seems to be some dirt now piling up on the outside of that track, and there's such a lot of grip there now on the outside, and I think there's going to be some really good outside overtakes tonight.
Well, there is Sam Ermolenko. Ermolenko desperate to do well and showing the style that made him a world champion. In pursuit, Billy Hamill, who won that Grand Prix in Austria. He's not going to give up easily, but Sam Ermolenko is wheel perfect out front. He's not even bothering to look back. He knows when he's there, when he has the speed, nobody could catch Sutton Sam. Billy Hamill in second place is trying desperately to do so. Sam Ermolenko, though, holding his line well. Sam Ermolenko coming round the bend there, certainly looking good as the checkered flag waves. He'll welcome that one, Sam, as he goes on to 7 points with Billy Hamill in second place and Greg Hancock third. But Sam Ermolenko acknowledges his teammates. The All-American heat went to the American team captain, Sam Ermolenko. And this is how he did it on that first bend, didn't he, Peter?
He did. Look at that drive there he's got round that outside. I mean, the corner he's making is much larger radius than the other riders who are on the inside. And I suppose whichever way there, we're definitely guaranteed to get an American winning this heat, but Sam turned out to be the one, and a very, very hard first turn from Sam.
Spectacular speedway. Normally in America they race on smaller tracks at home than this, but Sam Ermolenko doesn't mind whether it's